Post-mortem. An examination of a dead body to determine the cause of death.
In this generation, no game ever truly dies, unless the developers themselves pull the plug on the servers. However, some titles do reach the point of no return, well, they will never live up to the expectations the developers envisioned. Post-mortem will now analyze Battleborn. Battleborn was first announced to the public on July 8, 2014, several months before Overwatch was announced November 7th of the same year. However, that fact did little to dissuade many Overwatch comparisons following the 2 years leading to launch. However, before the elephant in the room Overwatch was on the scene, Battleborn was already faced with mixed press. Many players in the community expressed MOBA burnout and felt the scene had already plenty of options in the genre. Gearbox called Battleborn the most ambitious game they ever created, but many fans simply wanted a Borderlands 3. Winning over its own fans and converting MOBA veterans was just the beginning of the uphill struggle Battleborn faced. As earlier mentioned, Overwatch was announced, and the hype train for that title was something never before seen for a new gaming IP. Blizzard's first new IP in over 17 years. The hype was real. At this point, comparisons between the two games was unavoidable. No Battleborn news post was complete until threads raged on about which title was better. It became so bad it was commonplace to see numerous Overwatch mentions in every single Battleborn post. It's been said that there's no such thing as bad press, but being compared to the largest title in decades did little to improve the popularity of Battleborn. Even removing Overwatch from the equation, Battleborn still had its own issues to solve. Gearbox had to convince people a $60 MOBA with a $19.99 season pass was worth investing time in, while a sea of free-to-play titles with similar features surrounded it, and they needed to knock the gameplay out of the park. Leading up to the launch, many news sites attempted to help educate people about the differences between Overwatch and Battleborn, in an attempt to separate the titles and to give Battleborn more of an identity. One such person was Total Biscuit, a YouTuber with over 2.5 million subs, created a video called Battleborn vs. Overwatch for Dummies, a nearly 30-minute video with over 600,000 views. And on May 3rd, 2016, the moment of truth had arrived. Battleborn was launched. Major news sites gave Battleborn middle-of-the-road reviews with a Metacritic total of 71 out of 100. However, the title did enjoy a few days as a top seller on Steam and an all-time peak of 12,000 players online at once. However, to compare to Gearbox's other title, Borderlands 2, enjoyed an all-time peak of 123,000 players online at once. And to this day, its active population absolutely dwarfs Battleborn. Not bad for a title that was released in 2012. Fast forward to May 24th, the second moment of truth in the timeline that is Battleborn. Overwatch was released with stellar reviews, a stable launch, and a massive media blitz. As a runaway success, Overwatch began to storm out of the gates. Many digital retailers slashed the price of Battleborn. One of the more drastic price cuts came from Green Man Gaming, a whopping cut from $59.99 down to $27. It was almost unheard of for a AAA title to have such a drastic price cut just weeks from its launch. At this point, the writing was on the wall for Battleborn, and the numbers began to plummet. Soon after, the title was no longer in the top 100 games played on Steam and began a matchmaking death spiral. And at this point, with so few players online, the matchmaking was forced to match brand new players with level 100 vets, resulting in a terrible gaming experience for both parties involved, which of course caused fewer players to queue up, which of course added to the absurdly long queue times. And unfortunately for Battleborn, their PvE was nowhere near as fleshed out as Borderlands 2, so the title had to live and die on the back of its PvP. The numbers on Steam were as low as 380 people online. Even given all these factors, many Battleborn fans held out hope for the title. They suggested after a few major patches and a few sales, the title could pick back up again. However, to their dismay, Battleborn was back in the headlines again, once again proving that bad press is actually bad. The news headlines read, "Battleborn adds microtransactions," And for many people, that's all they needed to read to proclaim Battleborn was a cash grab or Gearbox was trying to milk a dying franchise. The same players Gearbox needed to win over were becoming more and more out of reach. And now we come to the present time. Summer Steam sales are in full swing, and many Battleborn diehards claim the game was only one Steam sale away from getting back on its feet. Gearbox seemed to echo this statement, as during this time they went on an all-out media offensive. They sponsored many Twitch streamers to stream Battleborn with community managers and dev members to coincide with a 50% discount on Steam. With all this effort, they were able to double their Steam active users, now sitting around 1,000. However, this is still nowhere near the amount needed to crack the top 100 games on Steam. And for reference, the 100th game played on Steam right now is South Park Stick of Truth, sitting at 3,800 players. And there, my friends, is where we will leave Battleborn. A post-mortem analysis isn't to say that the title is dead or will never see updates, but it is a declaration that the title is no longer capable of living up to the expectations the developers once intended. My name is FG3000, and thank you for watching.